Listen, for the times are speaking. The shadows grow longer and the world is shifting. There is a force moving, unseen by most, yet felt by all. A great deception is unfolding and many are being led astray. What was once called evil is now celebrated. What was once called righteousness is now ridiculed. The world is being prepared. The stage is being set, and the figure of darkness is drawing near. The world is shifting, and most do not see it. The deception is not loud. It does not come with great banners or obvious warnings. It moves silently, weaving itself into the fabric of culture, society, and even faith. What was once unthinkable has become normal. What was once sacred is now ridiculed. It is not just a change in opinion. It is a systematic reshaping of reality. Deception works not by removing truth outright, but by distorting it. It takes what is good and twists it just enough to make it unrecognizable. It cloaks itself in light, in justice, in progress, making those who resist seem like the enemy. It does not announce itself as darkness. It does not tell you to follow evil. Instead, it whispers that what was once evil is now good. It replaces conviction with compromise, wisdom with confusion, faith with fear. The deception is growing. It is creeping into the minds of millions, into institutions, into governments, into the very places where truth was once proclaimed. It numbs people to sin, desensitizes them to lies, and makes them believe that morality is subjective. The deception does not need to force anyone. It only needs to make them believe they are choosing freely. There is a pattern to this. Throughout history, deception has always preceded destruction. It begins with tolerance, then moves to acceptance, and finally to enforcement. What was once optional becomes required. What was once forbidden becomes celebrated, and those who refuse to go along are cast aside. The masses do not realize they are being led because the path is made to look appealing. It promises peace, unity, and enlightenment. But it is a lie. Those who speak against it are silenced. Those who resist are mocked. The deception cannot tolerate truth because truth exposes it for what it is. It demands loyalty, demands submission, and so it creates fear. Fear of rejection, fear of persecution, fear of being different. The deception makes people believe that standing firm is dangerous when in reality, giving in is what leads to destruction. The world is being prepared. The deception is laying the foundation for what is to come. It is not a single moment, but a process, a slow and calculated erosion of truth. Many will not see it. Many will embrace it. They will call it progress. They will call it love. They will call it freedom. But they will be walking into chains. Yet even in the midst of deception, there are those who see. There are those who know that what is happening is not just political, not just social, but deeply spiritual. They see the signs, they recognize the patterns, and they refuse to be blinded. But they are few. The question is not whether deception is coming, it is already here. The question is, who will remain awake? The battle that rages is not one of flesh and blood, but of spirits, of forces beyond what the eyes can see. It is not about nations against nations or political movements against one another. Those are only the symptoms, the surface of something deeper, something ancient. It is a battle for the soul. It is a war that stretches beyond time, beyond generations, beyond history itself. And whether one chooses to acknowledge it or not, every person is part of it. The forces at work are not random. There is an agenda, a strategy, a carefully laid out plan that has been unfolding since the beginning. It moves through ideas, through culture, through the very fabric of civilization. It influences the laws that govern nations, the messages that shape minds, the values that guide societies. It works through deception, through confusion, through the slow erosion of truth. It seeks to replace light with darkness, faith with doubt, righteousness with rebellion. And many do not see it. The weapons of this war are not swords or guns. They are words, ideologies, beliefs. They are the lies whispered into the hearts of people, the subtle distortions that turn them away from what is true. The battle is fought in the schools, in the media, in the conversations between friends. It is fought in the choices people make every day, whether to stand for truth or to go along with the tide, whether to remain awake or to fall into the slumber of the world. There is no neutral ground. The idea that one can simply avoid the conflict is itself a deception. Every decision, every action, every thought either strengthens the light or feeds the darkness, and the enemy of souls knows this. That is why there is pressure to conform, to blend in, to silence conviction. That is why those who stand for truth face resistance, opposition, persecution. It is not because they are wrong, but because they are dangerous to the agenda of deception. The war is personal. It is not just something happening in the world, it is happening within. Every person is a battleground. Every mind is a contested territory. Every heart is being pulled in one direction or another. The enemy does not need to destroy outright. He only needs to weaken, to create doubt, to make people question what they once knew to be true. And in that wavering, he gains ground. But there is also a call, a summons to those who are willing to fight, to stand, to resist. They are not many, but they do not need to be. A single light in the darkness is enough to disrupt it. A single voice speaking truth is enough to shake the deception. A single soul fully committed is enough to turn the tide. The war is raging, the stakes are eternal, and the battle for the soul is now. The world is being prepared for something that appears to be good, something that seems to offer hope, unity, and peace. A leader will rise, a system will emerge, and it will look like the answer to the chaos. People will long for stability, for solutions, for a future where fear no longer grips them. And then, the counterfeit kingdom will come. It will not present itself as darkness, but as light. It will not come with force, but with persuasion. It will not demand at first, but it will entice, promising a world without division, without war, without suffering. The nations will look upon it and see something desirable, something worth embracing, and they will not realize what they are truly welcoming. A kingdom that is not of truth, but of deception. A ruler who does not come to save, but to enslave. The counterfeit will imitate the real so closely that even those who once stood for truth will be tempted to believe the lie. It will offer answers to the problems of the world, solutions that seem undeniable. It will speak of love, of tolerance, of unity, yet beneath its words will be a demand for submission. It will redefine morality, redefine faith, redefine freedom, until everything that was once known is unrecognizable, and those who resist will be cast aside, labeled as enemies of progress, of peace, of the new world. The world has been conditioned for this. For generations, the foundations have been laid. The systems of influence have already shaped the minds of millions. Truth has been replaced with opinion. Absolutes have been exchanged for compromise. Faith has been diluted with doubt. The coming kingdom will not need to force its way in. It will be welcomed with open arms. People will believe they are choosing it freely, yet they will be walking into their own enslavement. They will celebrate what they do not understand, embrace what will ultimately consume them. The deception will not be chaotic. It will be ordered. It will be efficient, structured, and seemingly just. It will demand loyalty, not through war, but through promises. Promises of a better life, a safer world, a brighter future. It will claim to unite humanity, to bring all under one cause, one vision, one purpose. And when the world is fully within its grasp, when the lines have been drawn, when there is no turning back, then the mask will begin to slip. Then the true nature of the counterfeit will be revealed. But by then it will be too late for many. Yet even in the midst of this great deception, there will be those who see, those who discern the lie beneath the promise, the chains beneath the illusion of freedom. They will not be many, but they will stand. They will resist. They will not bow to the counterfeit, because they know that the real kingdom, the true ruler, is coming. The counterfeit may rise, but it will not stand forever. Its time will come to an end. The signs are everywhere, yet most do not see them. They are written in the events unfolding before the world, in the shaking of nations, in the rise and fall of empires, in the changing of times. What was once distant is now near. What was once unimaginable is now reality. The signs are not random. They follow a pattern, a course set long ago. They have been foretold, revealed to those who have eyes to see and ears to hear. But the world moves forward as if nothing is happening, as if time itself is not crying out with urgency. A great falling away is taking place. That which was once firm is being shaken. That which was once unshakable is being questioned. Truth is being abandoned, not in a moment, but gradually, step by step, decision by decision. Many who once stood firm have grown weary. They have exchanged their convictions for comfort, their faith for acceptance, their courage for convenience. They have allowed the culture to dictate their beliefs, to redefine what is right and what is wrong. The falling away does not come with a great announcement. It comes through compromise, through subtle shifts, through the slow erosion of what was once held sacred. The deception is not just in the world, but within what was meant to stand against it. Many who claim to hold the truth have been swept away by the tide. They have embraced the spirit of the age, traded the eternal for the temporary. They have reshaped their message to fit the desires of the people rather than calling the people to a higher standard. They have silenced themselves in fear of rejection, in fear of persecution, in fear of being different. And in their silence, the darkness has gained ground. The world is moving toward a moment, a great convergence where all things will align. The shaking will intensify, the dividing lines will become clearer, and the illusion of neutrality will disappear. Everyone will be forced to choose. The middle ground will no longer exist. The time of blending in, of wavering between truth and deception will come to an end. The choice will be unmistakable, and in that moment, many will realize, too late, that they have already been led astray. Yet even as the darkness spreads, even as the deception grows, there is a remnant that will not bow. There are those who have not been deceived, who have not compromised, who have not given in to the pressures of the world. They are not the majority, they are not the loudest, but they are unshakable. They see the signs, they understand the times, they know what is coming, and they are preparing. While the world moves forward in blindness, they are standing firm in truth. While others fall away, they remain. They are not afraid because they know that the darkness does not have the final word. The signs are not a cause for fear, but a call to awaken, to be ready, to stand firm. A time is coming when the world will be faced with a choice that will not be hidden, subtle, or unclear. It will not be presented as an option among many, but as the only way forward. It will be a test, a dividing line, a moment that will separate those who stand for truth from those who bow to deception. It will not come all at once, but it will come. Step by step, the world will be led toward it. The systems are already being put in place. The structures already being formed. What once seemed impossible is now within reach, and what once was unimaginable is now being openly embraced. The choice will not be forced upon the world through violence, but through necessity. It will appear logical, practical, even beneficial. It will be wrapped in words of safety, security, and progress. The world will not resist it because the world will believe it needs it. People will accept it willingly, believing it to be the answer to their problems, the solution to their fears. The deception will not come through oppression, but through seduction. It will offer convenience, prosperity, and unity. It will make life easier, more efficient, more connected. And those who refuse it will be seen as obstacles, as outcasts, as dangers to the greater good. The pressure to conform will not come only from governments or authorities, but from society itself. Friends will turn against friends. Families will be divided. Communities will cast out those who refuse to comply. The fear of rejection, the fear of being left behind, the fear of suffering will drive many to surrender. They will believe they are making a small compromise, a minor concession, yet they will not realize what they are truly giving up. It will not be about survival alone, but about allegiance. A mark will be placed not just on the body, but on the soul. And those who take it will not only be choosing comfort, but choosing a side. Yet even in that time, there will be those who refuse. They will not be the majority. They will not be celebrated, but they will be unshakable. They will not be deceived because they were already prepared. They saw the signs before they arrived. They recognized the patterns before they unfolded. They knew that this moment would come, and they chose in advance where they would stand. They will endure loss, rejection, persecution, but they will not bow. The world will see them as stubborn, as unreasonable, as dangerous, yet they will not waver. They will stand because they know that the power that calls them to surrender is not the ultimate power. The choice will come, and it will be final. There will be no middle ground, no room for hesitation. Those who bow will not be able to undo their decision, and those who stand will have to stand until the very end. The moment will reveal the hearts of many, exposing what was hidden, bringing to light what was once in darkness. It will not be a small choice, not just a decision about the present, but a choice that determines eternity. The hour is late, and the signs are clear. The world is moving toward a great deception, a moment of decision that will determine destinies. The choice will not be easy, but it will be final. Many will bow, thinking they have secured their future, yet they will have surrendered their souls. But there will be those who stand, those who refuse to compromise, those who remain unshaken. The darkness may rise, but it will not last forever. The true king is coming, and his kingdom will not be built on deception, but on truth, not on fear, but on glory. Stand firm.